Welcome to this new show. Sorry guys, I'm just looking at the door, at the window, because I'm waiting for a package. Hello everybody. Nice to have everybody here. It's a new tech show, number 114. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Everything seems okay. Nice to have all of you here. And this is the live tech show number 114. We are on April 26th, 2018, Thursday. Of course, this is a show about technology. We have tech news, then we answer questions, and we just have a lot of fun. There's a cool chat room, and my name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And got a donation today with the express instructions that it was for beer during the show. So here's my beer. Cheers everybody, and thank you for the donations. It was just so funny. It was like, well, get some beer. I want you to have some beer today. So okay, here we go. So I will answer questions a little later during the show, after I do my tech news. So please keep your questions for a little later. And nice to have all of you on board. I was, you guys should have seen it. I was almost dancing at the sounds of Rod Stewart a few minutes ago, as I was listening to the greatest hits of Rod Stewart via the Google Home Mini here and here. And it's always nice. And if I, at some point, run out the camera real fast, it's because I'm waiting for a package. It could arrive today or tomorrow, I'm not sure when. I will have a brand new shiny Galaxy S9 Plus starting today or tomorrow. I got an offer that I couldn't resist. Actually, my phone carrier, so my 2-year contract was over. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to keep my Galaxy S7. I don't see the need for, anything else. And basically, they called me up and they said, well, you've been with us for a really long time. And well, we got an offer for you. So right now my phone, actually here, it's very expensive here in Canada. So my phone service, I had the Galaxy S7. I was on my contract, expired a month and a half ago. So they kind of called me up and said, and I got my own phone service also on the on the same company, which is Fido. And basically, what they said, you know what, we can offer you, same price that you're already paying right now, the Galaxy S9 Plus, for the fantastic price of $50 if I just renew my contract for 2 years. So I thought, whoa! And then he looked at the at my bill and he said, "Oh, and plus we'll give you a gift. Your home phone, which costs to be $15 a month right now, is going to be free for a year." So I was like, "Okay, so I'm getting a phone for $50, same price, plus minus $15 a month because for a year because you want to give me that. Why not? Why not?" So I'll have a purple Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus that I just can't wait to put my hands on. I think it's going to be really nice. So the number of hours of use of this S7 are now counted. And of course, because I bought a Galaxy S9 Plus, I bought a very nice case for it to make sure that if I drop it, I don't break it in a million pieces. So I am really anxious to get it. It's like I hope they come today. I hope they come through the show today. I'd like to do a live unboxing of the Galaxy S9. I think that would be nice. So anyways, enough of my fun and my little things here. So anyways, it's gonna be really a lot of cool. So if you see me run, it's very simple because it's the doorbell rang and I'm pretty sure it's my phone. So okay, hello everybody in the chat room. So we're gonna say hi to everyone. We have Bobby Burgess, and Bobby Burgess is mentioning that there's Ubuntu 18.04 new version that's out now. So if you guys are on Linux and or on Ubuntu, there's a new version available. Thanks for sharing that. I'll try to install it. You know what? 17 wouldn't install on any of my machines, except not even on my main computer. I don't know why. I have no idea why. So I'll try 18. Maybe 18 is gonna work. I don't know. Well, I'll try 18. Maybe later tonight I'll kind of download the image and put the put it on a USB stick and try to boot from it. David Walker, hey there. Albert Zappa, nice to have you on board from Ohio. We have Tim Robinson, hey there, nice to have you here. So of course Bobby Burgess. We have what do we have? We have. Oh, it's delayed. Okay, it's delayed. I didn't read the article. I didn't go to the article. So it's delayed. Linux 2 can be delayed. Ah, interesting. So it shows, you know, it's very difficult. Douglas Elliott, nice to have you here. Oh gosh, nice to have you here. Of course, what else do we have? Green9227, hello there, nice to have you here. What? Okay, wow. That is something that you don't want to have, a washing machine cat, for sure. What is there? What is there? Farney Jr., hey there, nice to have you here. Andre Arias, nice to have you on board. Grateful Pearls, nice to have you here, as usual. Voyager, nice to have you on board. From Ireland, nice. Chingiz Ramazanov, nice to have you here from Georgia. Nice to have you on board, of course. Anybody I've missed, please say hello. And we are, of course, talking about tech today. Of course, one of the things that helps me out is donations. So if you can spare a little something, why not think about it? The donations are helpful in keeping up with everything. And it's always welcome. And thanks to who wants to stay anonymous for the beer donations for today. Express instructions that, yeah, I'm giving you a donation, but it's for the beer. So here's the beer. And it was okay, you know what? I was thinking this morning, you know, maybe I should have beer. Then I saw the little notification that something was happening on my PayPal account. So I looked and I saw a donation come through and I saw the instructions. I saw the nice comment about the guy. Loves my tech shows. He's not in the chat room. He doesn't participate really like that. He really loves to watch my tech show and said, here's my donation for beer for today. So you have to have beer. So cheers. I got the beer. Instructions are accomplished. And it's nice to be here. So of course by PayPal, which is a nice way to give a donation, or Patreon. There's already 10 patrons giving me a little something every month. You can join there. It's a little tricky. Be sure to set it up right. But PayPal is a great way to also give donations if you wish. Helps me out, and frankly, without your donations, I would not have gone through 2017. So, let's go back here. Okay, news items that we want. Sorry if when I hear a truck, I'm going to be like looking at the window all the time. So, what else did I miss? Patrick Manny, hello there. Nice to have you here. Graham Pims, nice to have you on board. And anybody that wants to be in the chat room, it's really cool. Yeah, it's 900. It's like $1,000 phone here in Canada. I believe my carrier sells it for I think it's $1,029 or something like that. I got it for $50. In reality, let's not be fooled. It's not a gift. My 2-year contract, I'll pay it at least $1,000 when it's over. I mean, I had two choices. If I wanted, I could have just called them and say, hey, I don't want to have a new phone. Can you lower my bill? And they would have lowered the bill because I had no more contract. But I preferred to keep it like this and get a $50 new phone. Why not? You know, I wasn't sure I wanted to have a new phone, honestly. The Galaxy S7 is actually still quite good. And if it wouldn't be for that really nice deal, I would not have gone into a new phone for sure. So no problem. No problem, Tim. No problem, Tim. There's me. There's no problem. Sure, I'll lend you my guitar, my amp, and a hat. A hat is even better than a cup to get donations, Tim. And no problem. You've been very, very generous, Tim. So please, no hurry in there. So yeah, well, here it's not going to be Porsche Pirate because it needs a signature. So if I don't answer the door for the phone, they're going to go back with it. So it's like, you know, there won't be any pirates, you know, taking the phone away from me. Lolo Parkovsky, nice to have you here. And yeah, well, I've got a buzzer for a doorbell, so if you see me jump 10 feet in the air, that's because, you know. So yeah, here in Canada we have a new rule for the phones. They all have to be unlocked. Any carrier, you're not allowed to, carriers are not allowed to sell locked phones. It's a new rule that was enforced by the CRTC, the Canadian of the Canadian radio and telecommunications thing. The phones need to be unlocked. They can't lock phones anymore. So that Galaxy S9 Plus will be an unlocked Galaxy S9 phone, which means you can use it and go anywhere you want with it, if you wish. Gripple Pearls, I'll take Gabriel. I will be watching the NFL draft tonight, and Gabriel needs to still burn that hat. I'll tell him. Actually, I tell him every time that you want him to burn the hat. Wood Beast on YouTube, nice to have you on board. Yes, it's the place of the singing tech. So, really nice to have all of you here. So, first news item, the Nintendo Switch. Really, really huge success for Nintendo. I mean, that, you know, I still remember when I was watching the official keynote from Nintendo with Gabriel last year when they announced the Switch. And they expected to sell 10 million of those in a year. And now we learned that they sold 15.1 million in 1 year. They had to ramp up the production because it's really a hot item right now. They were saying it sells more than the Xbox One, and but not as much as the PlayStation. PlayStation 4 apparently is 20 million year over year, which is a huge amount. So basically, if you take the top 3 selling consoles, PlayStation 4 20 million year over year, Nintendo Switch 15.1 million. And then you got Xbox at 10 or 11 million around there, which is number 3. And of course, they had great revenue because the games also that come with the Nintendo Switch are amazingly popular. So there's some really big hits in there also. And one of the interesting aspects that we've learned this button is the fact that now it's hackable. Somebody found that in the bootloader that was made, unfortunately, and it can't be fixed. It cannot be fixed. They can't upgrade it or anything. They found a flaw. That means that Nintendo Switch will eventually run to all sorts of things. I wouldn't be surprised soon to see a Nintendo Switch with Linux on it or something. So it's you know, it's when you don't think about things properly. You know, I don't understand, and I still don't understand why you do devices with parts of the system that is you know, that you can't upgrade the firmware to. It's a nonsense. Why do you do things like that? It should not. And you know, now Nintendo Switch is hackable because of that. It has that flaw that they just can't fix. So you know, it's an interesting aspect to it. But you know what? I kind of find it cool because honestly, anybody that has a Nintendo Switch, those that are more like you know, the more advanced people, will surely want to tweak that Nintendo Switch and do other things with it. You know, I mean, why not? So that's going to be okay. You know, Leon Jones, nice to have you here, and thank you for the nice comments. Thank you, Voyager, for mentioning to click on that thumbs up button. And so really nice and very interesting that Nintendo, you know, Nintendo is funny. It's that it's really that thing that it's that company that, you know, when they have that big success story, suddenly it goes and fades away, and you think, well, you know what? Okay, they're gone. They're not gonna, you know. And then suddenly, they bring this new thing, and they're back in the limelight in business. It's very weird that, you know, a lot of companies have these things where you companies, you know, generally just go with the flow, you know, like Xbox or whatever, or PlayStation for Sony, and they just are always popular and always working, and they just sell. And suddenly, but Nintendo is that up and down company. When you think there's no more future for the company, they come out with this amazing thing, and they're popular again, and we hear Nintendo again, and it's just crazy. It's kind of funny when you think about it. But yeah, Nintendo is one of those companies that's really intense with YouTube stuff. You know, it's sad because I do not believe it in any way, you know, causes any problems with Nintendo games. The fact that they always want to block everything on YouTube that has any music or any video games that they have. You know, last year when we did retro gaming, me and Gabriel, we did one with emulation of Super Nintendo, and that video got immediately flagged as, you know, copyright content, and you can't do that. And it's like, you know, I don't understand that. I mean, what does it cause in prejudice? What does it cause in problems when you know, when you actually don't want people to just see the games? I would like people to see the games because it's even better. You know, I think they need to change that for sure. Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, some news today. Basically, 92.1% of all Windows 10 computers are now running this Fall Careers Update, which is good news, considering you know, it's the highest rate of having of any Windows 10 operating system. It means, I mean, everybody's getting it, everybody's upgrading it. Pretty good news. If you consider that there's like 600 and, you know, some million, 700 million Windows 10 computers now running around the world, and that 92.1% are running that Fall Careers Update. Everybody's on Fall Careers Update, which is cool. And there were actually some cumulative updates this week to fix bugs in the Fall Careers Update for those that are here. And of course, that brings us also to the famous April update that is going to be released in the month of May now, May the 8th. apparently is the unofficial official date. So basically, Windows 10 April update is going to be launched when there will be apparently April 8th, May 8th, sorry. It's May 8th is the second keynote. There's something weird this year about Build. They've put up all the information about what they are going to do, and one of the things that they say is that there will be a keynote on Monday, May 7th, when Build starts. There'll also be a keynote on May 8th, and the keynote on Tuesday, May the 8th, will be a keynote for Windows, apparently. So May the 8th is pretty much what we will get in our updates. A lot of people have been telling me, oh, why did they call it April update and everything? You know, first of all, why do we go crazy about that naming system? It doesn't matter to call it, you know, March or April or May update. It's a detail that it's actually the most unimportant detail of a launch of Windows, honestly. It's funny because I get tons and tons. Since I posted May 8th, I got tons and tons of emails, private messages, and comments of, well, you know, why do they call it that? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares? As long as they launch it, you know. And for the majority of people, anyways, they don't even care if they're going to launch it or not. So, you know, it's kind of a funny thing. But, you know, I've been telling somebody today, said, well, they can't call it April update. And yeah, why not? It's finalized in April. It's official. It's finalized now. Unless there's some bug or something really bad, it's done. So it was done in April. It is the April update. Yeah, I don't agree with a name change because it's May 8th. It's the April update because it was finished in April. And it's 1803 because technically it was finished in March. They just fixed a bug. Technically it was still finished. There was no more new features. There has been no more new features in there since a little while now. I don't see why we should change 1803 to anything else. I don't look at bug fixes as the version number change. I look at when was the last features added. And the last features added were in March. Nothing new since then, only bug fixing. So I have no problem with 1803 for that reason. And I've got no problem with April update for the other reason that it's completed in April. But, you know, for the rest of it, who cares? You know, they could call it the inflated balloon version. You know, whatever. Anything. I don't care. As long as, you know, for me, it's as long as we get it is the most important thing, honestly. But, you know, May 8th. It's just, you know, it's just whatever. Doesn't matter. But you know what drives me mostly crazy with what's happening with Microsoft is the secret behind it. It's like, so what would be the problem of today officially saying, oh, by the way, May the 8th we will release a new version of Windows 10? What's secret about that? Why not say it? It's you know, it was like the problems the problems they had. The biggest thing about the problems they had was, why don't you just get out there and say, oh, by the way, we got a big bug with, you know, blue screens. So we decided that we would, you know, simply have that delayed. You know, why don't you say it, man? And it's just crazy. You know, it's just funny. It's just funny. I don't understand the secrecy between Microsoft and its versions. I do understand they don't want to talk too much about it because, you know what? they've been burned too many times in the past couple of years with the fact that, oh, well, you know, we announced something and it's not in that version. So I do totally understand that you don't want to talk anymore about new features. You know, and it's okay. But at the same time, why so secret, honestly? You know? Honestly, it doesn't matter, you know? It really doesn't matter. Whatever version it is, you know? So, you know. So, what else do we have? What else do we have? And anyways, you know, we're just, everybody's like, what the hell? Harry PZ, nice to have you on board. And, you know, it's just crazy. You know, the biggest thing here, and I agree with, I think it was Paul Rod that mentioned that. The biggest thing here, we gotta remember one thing. We are a deflated balloon version, Harry PC says. Why, you don't like the inflated balloon? You know, the thing is, it's just something that we go crazy upon. Us are the guys going crazy upon, but honestly, nobody cares about the next update. Nobody. You know what? There's an icon on your desktop that has timeline. And I can bet you that 90% of the people that upgrade to that new version will not even click on it, will not even know what it is, and it's just gonna, you know, be again unused features because people don't use the features, and that's the way it is, honestly. So, you know, who cares what the name is and what version number is? You know, at least it's better to have April 2018 update than have, you know, Spring Careers update, please. Ryzen, the AMD Ryzen CPUs are really hot items. It's pretty amazing, and it's pretty cool. It's going to be pretty interesting. Sorry here, I got distracted by a private message I got. So, anyways, the Ryzen CPUs are selling really well. It shows in the revenue of AMD, and I think it's telling Intel that they better, you know, maybe they better kind of do something, because the Ryzen CPUs are taking over right now. And it is nice. It's nice to see that competition back. You know, one of the things that I always liked with the competition between AMD and Intel, you know, for those that know computers or have been in PCs for a long time, you guys might remember Cyrix, that company that made cheap Intel clones, CPUs that were bad. They were technically bad, but you know what? I mean, Intel always been that company that when there's no competition, they don't innovate as much, and suddenly they kind of slow down in the progress of their CPUs. And I remember when AMD came, it kicked Intel in the butt. When AMD came, it was like, hey man, your CPUs are, you know, not fast enough for anything. And basically, what happened is that the Intel, you know, kind of did miracles, and they suddenly started, pushing out these new Intel processors that was so much better. Why? Because they had competition up their butt, and they needed to do something better. And I like the competition here because it is needed to have better products. But there's also another thing here that is very nice. It's also the fact that the competition with AMD that always has lower priced and good performance, and at this time, not only that, it's really great processors. Well, it's putting pressure on Intel on prices also. Intel has always been expensive, and I've always been a big fan of Intel. I've personally never bought a computer that didn't have an Intel CPU in it. Intel was my only choice. Intel was my only choice also when I decided to Intel was my only choice when I decided to to purchase, and even now I was thinking mostly Intel, purchase any new computer. But you know what? For the first time ever, I'm starting to think, hey, you know what? A laptop with one of those new mobile Ryzen CPUs, that could be a good idea. That could be a pretty good thing, honestly. So, it's good, clean competition, and something I find really, really cool. I think that AMD is great, and I hope that they continue having such popularity here. Hey, 13 years. It's been 13 years this week that YouTube had its first video posted. 13 years. Pretty amazing, eh? 2005. So 13th anniversary of YouTube. Lots of, we were talking. I was with Bobby Burgess. We were on another YouTube user's live show. Cosmic Lettuce is his name, and he has an astronomy show. He talked a little bit about YouTube, and we talked about YouTube, and I gave kind of comment about, we may rant however and wherever you want about YouTube, but honestly, YouTube is still the only place where it's flexible enough to have all of this content, and I rant about YouTube regularly. You guys have seen my regular rants about YouTube, and you know what? It's kind of I'm making a living off of it. What can I say? I mean, I'm actually making a living off of YouTube. I can't, they say don't bite the hand that feeds you. Is that what the saying? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Well, here's, that. But there's a lot of things we can complain, some people are complaining about the new rules of, at least 1,000 subscribers and everything. Yeah, I understand. All of that is something, But at the same time, there's I do understand why also that rule exists. That rule exists for a very simple reason. It ensures that there's nobody, sorry, I was somebody at the there's somebody at the that was in the door. I thought, maybe my package. I'm actually completely nuts about my package. I hope I get it today. So anyways, so basically you get, I understand why the 1,000 sub minimum. It prevents, every channel, honestly, many channels, well, every channel that has stolen my content in the past 2 years were all channels that had no subscribers or almost. All below, 50 or 100. And I understand that the 1,000 rule is for that reason. That reason. So basically, you know, it doesn't. It's sad because small creators, you know, like my nephew Gabriel, he was getting, you know, he had one channel with videos that he was getting about $100. Is $100 minimum every 3 or 4 months. He was happy every time he was telling me, "Oh, you know what? I got my $100 today. I've gone through the minimum of AdSense, you know, for the payment," and he was super happy. And you know, now he's of course, you know, a rule like that kind of puts him in the sad state, because he's like, well, you know, nobody, I don't make money anymore because I don't have 1,000 subscribers there, and it's sad, because, you know, it's very, very unique. Here's Mr. Cat saying hello to everybody. Here we go. Look at that. Mr. Cat is here saying hello to everybody. So with his little medal and his little pirate necklace, pirate cat necklace, because he just got outside. So when we go outside, we have our necklace. Yes, we do. So, you know, I understand that it's sad for people that were honest and making a little something off of it, but that suddenly monetization's taken away from them because because of the new rules. And, you know, that maybe is the insensitive thing about YouTube. They don't take the time. They just, you know, there's millions and millions of YouTubers and channels out there. So I kind of understand why maybe they don't have much time to, honestly, to devote to that. And, you know, it's something that you know, they can't take the time to honestly go to channel through channel that, oh, well, okay, are you honest, are you okay, or you're not, what would be the guidelines, and so on. Maybe they could have done one thing, though, I don't know, ask for you know, say a maybe, you know, like, one rule I would have done was, well, if you ask a big channel that has the minimum requirement to say, yep, you're okay, you're good to go, and it would save monetization. I don't know what they could have done. It was a drastic move. They just done it like, you know, okay, no, you know, you don't have 1,000, that's it, and it's going away. So basically, it's you know, it's sad. It's sad. So it's really, really sad that, you know, they have done that. Honestly, it's for the honest people. You know, we learned also in the last bits of 2017, the automated system. I just moved forward, right? Let me just go back to the previous. There we go. Another thing that was happening in the. I was gonna try to. The cat is here. So one of the things about what's happening is the automated system of YouTube actually removed 8 million videos just in the last quarter of 2017. 8 million videos were removed from YouTube, all by the automated system that deemed that his videos were not good for you know, the service, because they're trying to, you know, trying to clean up their act. One of the biggest problems that happened is that is the fact that they, you know, they had ads on videos that you know, advertisers didn't like, and I totally understand advertisers are being mad. You know, when you're selling Coca-Cola and the video is about something that is, you know, really bad, well, you don't want to have your brand in front of some video of extremism or whatever. But the problem is they have difficulty with that, because it's always an extreme. Every time they need to change that, they do an extreme decision. They do something that, well, okay, well, no more this or that. It's really, really crazy, you know? And basically, I'm just gonna try to remove the color here. So it's, you know, it's nuts. It's nuts that they are like that, and that they, you know, it's. But I understand at the same time, it's such a huge service. They don't have the time to spare to start telling everyone, well, you know, you got to abide by these or that or those rules here. So sorry here, I'm just gonna try to remove the color. Which, where the hell is your color clip? I've always had problem with that little clip to remove its color every time I want to remove it. Hey, little guy. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. He's telling me stop. Wait. Here we go. Ta-da! There we go, man. So, you know, it's just crazy. And hey, Sean Robinson, nice to have you on board. And so, you know, I'd be curious. I'd like to see, you know, in the 8 million videos they removed in the last quarter, how many of them were honest, good videos that it automatically removed it because of some little thing, you know. You know, unfortunate. I look at all the videos and I posted videos of a lot of things. I've never had any video removed in the last quarter, you know, since the channel, the disappearing channel last year. But you know, it's one of those little things that I wonder how many of them were, you know, there must have been videos in there that were honest and okay and they were removed. But anyways, you know, that's the automated system of YouTube, and that's the big problem of YouTube. The automated system is one of the problems of YouTube itself. So anyways, so here, Gripple Pearls, I don't know if you'll see it right, but this is a little heart. So there's a little heart here with his name and my phone number, and it's a red collar with little parrot cats on it. So I'm sorry because you can't see it really well. Little parrot cats are so there's a little cats with a patch and one eye on his collar. So that's his collar, basically. Windows 10 Lean. What do you guys think about Windows 10 Lean? Yeah, that Toronto crazy thing in Toronto with the guy that what is that, 10 people dead and 15 injured or something like that. Pretty crazy. So Windows 10 Lean, that nobody really knows what is, you know. It's crazy. Patrick, when you see N in a version, it's simply because it's a single language version. Single language version. Oh yeah, there's always a finger, Gary Paul Pearls. I always check it out, and I want to make sure he doesn't choke on it. I would be so sad if it would happen. And so anyways, Windows 10 Lean, lots of speculation, but everybody agrees that maybe it's a version too many that we don't really need for anything. So I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. And so that's speculation for low storage devices. But you know, honestly, 5 years ago we would have, 4 years ago we would have tablets with 16 gigs of storage and stuff like that. But you know, we don't see that anymore. And also it's kind of a Windows 10 S thing. And basically you can't install any apps. In the Lean, they remove all the error messages. So basically if you do something and there's an error telling you can't do that, it doesn't pop up because it doesn't have the error messages in there. I don't understand why this exists, honestly. And you know, maybe they should take the lean team and put it on the regular Windows team, and have a better, you know, whatever. So anyways, China going crazy with the United States. Lots of things happening here, you know, with the United States going a little nuts on the security side and preventing some of the Chinese companies to you know, sell stuff in the United States. Then we have ZTE that can buy U.S. Parts from Qualcomm and from what was it, Microsoft and whatever. And now the Chinese government is, you know, it's going to have a interesting effect, because basically what's happening is the Chinese government is sitting down and saying, you know what, okay, you don't want us to buy anything? Well, okay, we're going to go and we're going to make our own chips, and we're going to make our own stuff. And it's going to have an effect that might be actually negative, because let's say China makes an Intel, you know, CPU that's compatible, a compatible Intel-like CPU for PCs. Well, maybe, you know, they'll just fall flat-faced and say, well, you know what? We have our own CPUs now. We don't need to use your Intel or AMD chips in our computers. So the hell with it. And, you know, China's a big market. And they are saying they're actually ramping up the investments in all the chip making. That's going to be interesting for the future, honestly. That's going to be very, very interesting. That's for sure. So, you know. Well, here in Canada, guns are not that much of a problem. It's not like in the United States. Control of guns in Canada is much, much more restrictive than in the United States. Here in Canada, we don't talk about guns. We typically don't talk. Doesn't mean there ain't any. There's a lot of guns, you know, circulating in Canada for sure. But it is not like the United States at all. And, you know, the more we read about that guy in Toronto, the more we see that he's just deranged than anything else. He's just, you know, nuts in his head. That's it. That's pretty much what we see here. Okay. Tech Guy for Life, nice to have you here. Carlos Badlud, hello there. Windows 10 S mode. A little bit of news on that. It seems that when we have S mode on a PC, the way that it's going to work is that S mode is going to be something you will is going to be something you will just remove from the Microsoft Store. So we were wondering where the there's you know, we were wondering when Windows 10 S mode would appear, would we have an on-off switch or stuff like that in the S mode in Windows 10? And basically, we have an answer now, is that when S mode is there, it's going to be in the Windows Store that you actually, Microsoft Store, that you switch it off or on. Basically, it's going to go from there. So pretty much the only news we've got on the S mode. Hey, Facebook wants to make his own chips. Kind of interesting. Of course, they want to make devices. I don't know who will buy these devices, but they want to make devices. And so Facebook wants to make their own chips, of course. That will help them that will, you know, help them make their own devices. But you know, I think, why not? I think the more chip makers we have, the better it is. You know, the competition will be there. Prices might go down. I think it might be a good idea. Also, numbers today. A lot of people were wondering with what happened with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. if Facebook lost users and everything. Well, not only did Facebook not lose users, they have more users than ever. And they made more money than ever. So typically, it doesn't affect them. Hey, if you guys go in a hotel room and you have these key cards, well, they can easily be hacked, and easily anybody could, that really wants to, apparently according to F-Secure, can easily, you know, unlock your door as they wish and have what is kind of a master key, basically. So apparently, maybe it's not a good idea to use these key cards. And so this was the tech news that we have for today. We have Grateful Pearls that has a question concerning Google Drive. So if you already, the simple answer to your question, Grateful Pearls, is that if you are already logged in with a Gmail on your phone, it already is syncing your pictures on the Google Drive. It's automatically done. You don't even have to turn it on or anything. It does it automatically. It's kind of part of the service. So you already have your pictures sent there. And because you're saying that you're losing your extra storage on OneDrive, but I'm pretty sure you also have all your pictures on your computer. It's just that you don't understand where to get them, honestly. So simple answer: your Google Drive already has your pictures, and you know what? Don't worry about it. Honestly, you can go to your Google Drive easily if you want to see that the pictures are there. For example, what you could do is go to, let me just check it out here, Google, I think it's that. So yeah, to go to your Google Drive and see the files, when you're logged in to that account that you have on your phone, you can actually go to drive.google.com, and over there you'll see everything that's on your drive, your Google Drive. So everything you see there will be on your Google Drive. For example, I see here tons of pictures of mine right now. And it also will tell you on the left side, there's a panel telling you from where it's coming from, your phone or your PC or so on. So you don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, you have your pictures for sure. You're sure that you didn't log in to the wrong Gmail. If you have more than one Gmail, be careful that you are. And I hope Cambridge Analytica is a world of poop, because they are, what they did was crazy. But I'm sure you have your pictures in your computer also, Grateful Pearls, and you just don't see them. I don't think you're going to lose anything. You just kind of are a little messed up in where the things are. Or else what you could do is in your phone, and let me just check it out quickly here. If I look at it in my phone, if I go to settings, let me just check it out here. Settings. Okay, there's something called, well, let me just check it out here. Google settings. Google settings. Maybe it's in the picture or photos stuff. Let me just check that out here. I'm trying to find accounts, backup, and restore. Okay, yeah. If you want, normally you should have, so when you go into your Galaxy S7 Edge, So you pull down the drop down menu from the top, you go into the little pinwheel on the upper right corner. There you will see something called Cloud and Accounts. In there you'll have something called Backup and Restore. Make sure that the sliders are on at Backup and My Data. And check the account that it's giving you the email address of your Gmail account where it's done. So that everything will be there. Everything should be there, including the pictures, if you do that. And actually, if you have a new phone, so I'm going to be testing that out anyways. I'm going to get my new S9 Plus, and I will be activating that with the same account. It's supposed to restore a lot of what I have here on my new phone, and that I'm curious to see how it's going to work. So maybe I'll have a little more details about that next week. We have Tommy that wrote a little email just a little late today before the, well, during the show, basically. I've got a email from Tommy that arrived during the show. He says, to anybody in the chat room, if you want to have more news and know when everything, that you can actually email him if you want to have news, that there's no problem there. If anybody wants Tommy's email to stay in touch, just let me know by telling me. I'll send you the email through private emails. I won't post it. Publicly. But if anybody wants to keep in contact with Tommy, that's Tommy was telling me here that. I can give the emails to some of you, like Tim or anybody in the chat room that knows Tommy and wants to keep in touch. He wants to. He has no problem with that. So yeah, you should see them on Google Photos. Absolutely. What is there for what? Honestly, I don't. I'm looking at. You have his email, Tim. Cool. If you need it again, let me know. You know what, Green? I don't really care much about fingerprint scanners, and I honestly, I like. There's fingerprint scanning on the S9. There's fingerprint scanning, iris scanning, or face recognition to unlock your phone. Personally, the one I hate the most is fingerprint scanners. And under glass or not, I don't really care as long as it works. I don't really care much. Like the S9 Plus I'm gonna get is the fingerprint scanners in the back. It's like on the S7 and S7 Edge. Fingerprint scanner is here at the bottom, so I just press my thumb there. It's okay. For me, it was an okay placement. Then on the S9 Plus that I'll get, it's under the camera, so I'll have to, and apparently it ain't totally simple. And I might actually use face recognition to unlock my phone. My phone isn't, I mean, it has personal stuff in it, but if I would get my phone stolen or something, I'm not that much crazy about whatever they're gonna find in it. I don't do things to a level where it's dangerous necessarily, even though I do a lot, But who knows, Come on, I want to have my phone. So, anyways, what else do we have? And Google Photos isn't going away. Not that I've noticed. Google Photos is not going away. And Google Photos, by the way, has one interesting feature is that it stores reduced sized, kind of compressed pictures. So For that type of storage, I believe it's unlimited. As many pictures that you have is going to work. Okay, what else do we have? Tommy says, how do I set up to print from my laptop, tablet, and smartphone if I want to? I installed it on my desktop, but you know, the desktop PC isn't working at the moment. So how do I set it up for my laptop? Does the desktop PC have to be working before? Okay. Came with your wireless printer, and that's the steps. Okay, so your wireless printer has, first of all, a setup CD. It's technically the best way to install your wireless printer is to have it connect to your router. So I hope it's set up in that, because some people do direct printing. So what they do is that they have set up the Wi-Fi, the wireless printer, direct from PC to printer. When you do that, it's your PC that prints to the printer. If you want it to be shared everywhere, you have to have it connected to the router. So when you actually set it up, it needs to connect to your router, and now it's going to be visible to every device in your network, and including a tablet. But it's touchy. Okay, wireless printing, not all tablets will be able to use your printer. Some yes, some no. Not all tablets. It's like if you have an iPad, not all wireless printers are compatible with the iPad for printing. It doesn't always work. On your laptop, usually if it's connected to your router, just put the disk that came in with your printer in your laptop, go through the setup, and it should technically see it, and it should technically install the drivers needed to print out. But it needs to be connected to your router, and that's the problem. A lot of, as a tech guy, I've been going through a lot of people that actually have their printer set up so that it prints directly from their computer instead of from having the printer connected to the router for every device, and doesn't always work. So install the print, and you know, if right now you can't print from anything, what I would suggest, honestly, reset the printer. Okay, in your manual there's a way of resetting, or on the internet you'll find a way of resetting the printer to its default settings from when you bought it. Pop the disk inside your laptop and follow the instructions on setting up the printer as a new printer, and usually it will work. You say in my news bulletin, I talked about the hackers who can see what you're doing in printing, something like that, through the RAM. Please tell me what you said, if you remember. You said it was for business, or so it's for everybody. Okay, it's just that what I was saying is that wireless printers are not always set up right. So wireless printers yeah, but the Google, what's going away in mid-May is not the sync to Google Photos. Let me just go back here for a second. So if I look at this here, now it's not going away in mid-May. Google Photos sync. I'll just go here. I'm just looking here, but I don't see anything about Google Photos stopping. It's not. You got to be careful here. There's a very, very big difference. What they have stopped is everything that has to do with the old system that is like with Picasa, that was updating and upgrading photos. The Google photo things that are today are not stopping. They're still continuing. They're not stopping that. They're not stopping that. Paul will log in with facial recognition. You're gonna want to talk to his friend cats. So okay, let me just continue here. So what is the problem with wireless printers and security is the fact that when you set it up, there's a few things that you need to know. First of all, when you set it up, you got to set it up right. And any defaults that the printer has to be changed to something that you want, your preference. So if there was any default way of connecting to it, it has to be changed, because they use the defaults the way they are from the shop, basically, when they get out to the store, to kind of tell you or hack into the printer. That, and the fact that a lot of the printers, you got to make sure the latest firmware. So when you put that CD, for example, for your printer, it should ask you at some point, do you want to check for updates? And you need, you got to make sure that these updates are at the latest firmware, the latest updates within the updates. So this is something you got to check. I'll come back to you next week a little more, because you give me the number, the printer model here, and I'll check that out a little more for next week. I'll see what I can find on that. But reinstall it with the CD. Put the CD in and reinstall it as if it was a new printer. Start with that, especially if it doesn't print anymore. And you see, I've been having some issues with Google Chrome since last month sometime, when I noticed that the sound is like muted, but my sound card speakers and all the way up. It doesn't matter what website I go, it's still nothing. Anyone else having issues with this? How can I fix it outside of waiting on whoever does a job fixing Google? Make sure that it's not one of the volume controls that is off. So when you go down to the taskbar and you right click on the icon for the speaker, you've got something called a volume mixer. The volume mixer has more than one volume. This is a common problem. And so if you're in Google Chrome and you're doing something, for example, you might notice that the mixer, one of the volumes down. You should technically have a volume for Chrome, or at least for something else. Make sure all the volumes are up. You might have one volume's down, because in the taskbar, when you look at the volume, there's one volume. It's a general volume, but there's independent volumes for every little details within Windows. Sometimes it's the main volume's up, but the volume for that is down. So right click in your icon for the speaker and go into the sound mixer and check out the volumes there. I would guess, because I haven't seen anything or people complaining about that specifically, of the volume not working in Chrome. No, you don't have to install backup and sync from Google. I don't think you need to do that. There is a backup and sync thing, Gripple Pearls, but if you're out of your main account, and if your phone is updated all the time with all its latest apps, I don't think you need that. Woodbeast says, I use Outlook 2010 with Windows 10. Lately, when I do a backup, my PST, it stalls. It is a known issue, Woodbeast. There are several known issues with Outlook 2010 and Windows 10. And that's where you might need to think about the moving on to a more advanced version. But I know it's I've read somewhere of that is a known issue. There's something with that PST file. What you might want to try, and that's what I would do, Woodbeast. Within the Office, where is it? I'm trying to remember. It's been a very long time since I've done anything with Outlook. There's a are you the kind of guy that has like a gazillion folders and messages, and it's like you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of messages in there? Because one of the problems that can arise is from a very, very, very large PST file. A few things I would do. I would recreate. I don't know. The few things I would try. I would try a fix tool. First of all, there's in the Microsoft Office folder, there's a fixing tool. If you don't find it, you can download it from Microsoft. It's a PST fix tool. So start with that in case your PST file is corrupted. Use and download and use the Outlook PST fixing tool. I think it's called PST recovery or something like that. Anyways, that thing is going to analyze the PST file, and if it sees a corruption or a problem with it, it will actually fix it. That might fix your Outlook problem, because Outlook, okay, the PST file has always been a huge issue. For as long as Outlook existed, the PST file at some point often has issues. I would try that. Then I don't know up to what point you are, computer literate, but you can also remove the PST file. Take the folder where the PST is, put it aside, go within Outlook, and ask to import emails and contacts and everything from a PST file. And when you do that, you'll point to your PST file that was within that folder that you took and moved away. And see if the fact that it kind of re-imports all of the information and the data, and if you've got a big PST file, it could take many, many minutes to do that. It might also fix that. There's a few things like that that you might try to do. I would try that. I would try that. Green 9227. Do more people use Microsoft Edge on the phone and Windows 10? Well, I don't know. There's no statistics. Honestly, there's no statistics. But it has been. I was looking this morning and talked about it on one of my channels, and Edge on Android has more than 1 million downloads, which is good. But I don't know. I really don't know. Tim Robinson, who was it that said YouTube keeps 30% of super chats? Wow, is that really true? I don't know. I've never looked. Super chat YouTube keeps 30%. Let me just check it out here. Okay, how much does YouTube take from every... Let me check it out here. Super chat donation, but looking at my most recent Instagram donation, YouTube took almost 50%. Okay. Yep. YouTube does take 30% of super chat, Tim. Here it says 30%. Absolutely. It's in the contract. So super chat is 30%. Which doesn't surprise me. I mean, YouTube takes 45% of the revenue that we make on YouTube. You know that the revenue share YouTube user and YouTube and YouTube itself is 45-55. So I get 55, YouTube takes 45, which is, by the way, a very huge cut for creators. And so I wouldn't be surprised they take 30% of super chats. I would not at all be surprised. Let me just check it out here. Product forums. Yeah, but Google Photos is not going away in mid-May, Grapple Pearls. I don't know where you saw that. Google Photos is not going away in mid-May. I don't know where you saw that. Find me an article. And I've never heard of that. I heard of the old system going away, but not Google Photos. I would not think that Google Photos would go away for the sync or anything. I saw something about Edge. Somebody talking about the Edge. What is this? I'll check it out a little more. Well, that's weird, Patrick Manny. YouTube, chat, everything works fine on Edge. I use Edge right now for everything. The chat room and everything is on Edge right now. Everything's fine. Got absolutely no issues. I have zero issues with Edge. Zero at all. Really nothing. Nothing bad. It's weird. It's very weird. But the PST in 2010 size limit is so huge that unless nobody reaches it. Nobody reaches it. But there is corruption. But the PST file in starting with 2010 and up, the limit is so huge. Nobody reaches that. I have seen clients that used huge amounts. Their PST file was a gigabyte. And I mean, that's because you're using a lot. 39227 says, well, talking to some of my friends about Windows 10, they did not know about Microsoft Edge. They thought it was Internet Explorer. You know, that icon is a big mistake. They should not have put the same blue E. Yeah, but the Google Photo and backup are done through the Photo app. I'll check it out and try to find more details about it, Grapple Pearls, this week. Okay? I'll check it out and see what we can do. Well, Microsoft has always had communications problems, for sure. For sure. Well, I'll check it out, Grapple Pearls, and I'll let you know. I'm going to keep your email and check it out. Is it worth to start a tech YouTube channel now? You know, YouTube channels, it's something that you got to dedicate yourself. If you want to make a YouTube channel, you gotta be there and do stuff and work on it, and always work on it. That's the only way it's going to become bigger. And so I think it's harder than ever to start new channels on YouTube. It's much harder than it was 6 years ago, 7 years ago when I started. But I do think you still can do something on YouTube, absolutely. So, you know, whatever you want to do, try it out. Try it out. Anwar Khalifi, nice to have you here. Because Microsoft is one of those weird companies that does weird things all the time, and they just can't, really can't do things right. It's totally crazy. It's totally nuts. Microsoft is dysfunctional in many, many levels. It's sad because, you know, just crazy. Green 9227, I got no answer for that because, you know what, 17655, it's a skip ahead build, so it's, you know, one of those builds that is still, you know, in the very, very early, very early. So you'll have to wait until they issue another build and fix it. There's really nothing much you can do. You know, there's tons and tons of bugs in the skip aheads. So when something goes wrong, you have to live with it. You have to live with it. Unfortunately. So hey everybody. B72 says, experience and still use your idea with a makeup brush for cleaning. So, you know, it's there's a lot of things. Rippled pearls. Nobody told you were crazy, that's for sure. But you know what? You're in the same. You have the same problems. A lot of my clients that over the years that I've seen that there's tons of little things that they get mixed up with, and you know, and it's not always easy. And sometimes it's because instead of looking at the you know, the whole picture, often people get stuck in little parts of the picture and kind of you know, go crazy. So you know. So anyways, I will be taking a 30-minute break, a little more than 30 minutes, and coming back in the Insider Show in 30 minutes at 5 p.m. So if you guys want to join in, hope you enjoyed today's show. I'll be, of course, we are here every Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 1900 UTC, and hope you enjoyed the show today. So the next show that is coming up is in 30-some minutes. We will have the Windows Insider Show. We'll be looking at the skip ahead build 17655 and rant about Microsoft as usual. So thank you, Anwar Khalifi. Thanks for the nice comments. See you next week for those that are not following us to the Insider Show a little later. And see you in a little more than 30 minutes for everybody that will follow me through today. So take care, my friends. It was nice to have you here. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Bye-bye.